Hey, here's a controversial opinion. Indie games are pretty cool. Terraria, Dead Cells, Lethal Company. Some of my favorite games are made by teams smaller than your average Subway crew. But lately I've been thinking, for every indie darling like Balatro that goes on to become a mega hit, there have to be so many great indies that never get their time in the spotlight. How do you find these gems? How do you find the ones that are actually worth playing? Well, luckily there's the Steam Next Fest, one of the best ways to discover new and exciting indie games, featuring hundreds, even thousands of demos you can play for free. The only catch being that it runs for exactly 1 week, meaning most people would check out 1 or maybe 2 demos at max. I played 65 of them. Yes, my life is going great, thanks for asking. I won't be talking about all of them, because no matter how hard I try, I don't think there's any interesting commentary to find in chess inside of a volcano. This video is more so a collection of the horrors and treasures I found when I opened Gabe's box. Like the worst voice acting I have ever seen.
Earthquake has destroyed all. Impressive. The glorious to beat it. But years ago with an earthquake.
Nothing, really, nothing could have prepared me for hack and slash fury. The horrendous voice acting sounding like he's trying really hard not to wake up his mom. The characters looking like someone gave them a Need for Speed style beige metallic rap, and the absolutely shameless plug for microtransactions before you even start the game. I think this may be satire. I mean, look at this knight speaking by deforming his helmet and tell me this was not an intentional choice to make it look as stupid as possible. What about the controls? What the fuck is this? Okay, obviously this is not a good game, no matter how hard the reviews are trying to gaslight you. So, in the interest of both your and my mental health, how about we talk about a good game instead? How about we talk about Haste? This is Haste, Broken World, a roguelike about running fast, and probably my favorite demo of the entire Next Fest. I could give you a detailed breakdown of all the mechanics, but honestly, it's a game about running fast. I think you can get everything you need to know by just looking at the screen. Man, when this game clicks and you're just absolutely flying through the level, you reach this flow state of pure bliss. It's incredible. After finishing the demo, I was that Danny DeVito gif, thinking to myself, I think I get it now. Is this what Sonic fans feel like? The going fast part, not the other stuff. Since I am incredibly slow at making videos, this is actually out right now. I couldn't play too much of the full game for reasons, but what I have played has been really good, and I'm impressed at just how much more content there is. I definitely recommend you check out the demo at least. Okay. I want to get serious here for just a second. Don't worry, it's not a sponsor read. There is this thing a lot of you do that does massive harm not only to your mental but also physical health. Most people start in their early teens, and over time it slowly transforms from a fun hobby into a full-blown addiction. You might even feel like you're becoming a person you never wanted to be. League of Legends. League of Legends is a case study on the depravity of the human soul. How can you believe that man is close to God when Draven players exist? The only way you can break this karmic cycle of self-hatred is to stop playing. And I know that's hard, but you don't have to quit cold turkey. This is where Shape of Dreams comes in. Shape of Dreams is one of the best MOBAs I have ever played, and that's because it's not a MOBA, it's an action roguelike with MOBA-style gameplay, meaning you can experience the joy of playing League without getting called a British meatball by your teammates. Well, I mean, I guess that depends on your friends, since the game does support up to 4-player co-op. I enjoyed this a lot. MOBA puritans might be upset about the inclusion of WASD controls, but personally, I like to play video games without getting wanker's cramp. It also has a really nice art style, but what really sets this game apart is the build crafting. Each hero starts the game with 2 active and 1 passive abilities. During your run, you will find additional abilities that you can mix and match into your kit. This already gives you a lot of room for experimentation, but on top of that, there are also gems. These can be slotted into your abilities and imbue them with different effects, like casting this ability heals over time, or dealing fire damage with this ability causes enemies to explode for AoE damage. I love this. They could have gone the lazy route and made gems minor increases to damage or crit rate, but instead they went the extra mile, resulting in some really interesting build decisions. This elevates Shape of Dreams to one of my favorite games from the Next Fest, but I know it might be a bit too fast-paced for a few gamer dads out here, juggling your 5 kids and 600 jobs. So here's a slow-paced, king-themed strategy game just for you. The premise of 9 Kings is simple. There are 9 kings, and they all fucking hate each other. You play as one of them, defending your kingdom from evil wizards, demons, and 30 to 50 feral hogs. Also, kingdom implies the existence of a king sub, but I'm kinda going off script here. The game starts with you placing down your castle. After that, you have to survive a set amount of rounds, each one consisting of playing a card, fighting an enemy king, and picking a reward. The rewards you get are dependent on which king you fight, with each of the 9 kings falling into a different archetype. You start out with the King of Nothing, which is aptly named given that he sits somewhere between unseasoned chicken breast and vanilla ice cream in excitement. It's your typical, inoffensive, good at everything, great at nothing human faction. Then there's the King of Spells. He does magic stuff. The King of Nature, really into trees, forests and pigs. The King of Greed, embracing that CEO grind set. When the beat drops, I'm going to kill. And finally, the King of Blood. He comes with suicide bombers, demons feeding on the souls of your dead soldiers, and a literal meat grinder. Your people are a resource, and that resource is expendable. It doesn't matter how many will die, because even in death, you're going to the front lines. This is definitely my favorite faction so far. Ramaron, that's only like 5 kings. Yes, that's right, you're really good at distinguishing your 1-digit numbers. Great job! There are 4 more mystery kings that were not available in the demo. Looking at the existing kings, I guess they're gonna be something like the King of Time, Decay, Lust, and maybe Jeff from accounting. I love that you have to kind of mix and match cards from the different kings because it makes each run super distinct from the last one. It's a really addicting game mechanic, which is further built upon by being able to declare war and make peace with the other kings. My only complaint so far is that there are not enough cards, but we only saw like 5 out of the 9 kings, so I hope that will fix it. Sir, a second king-themed strategy game is at the Next Fest. The king is watching. This is a kingdom builder where you have to defend your city from goblins. No, not that one, the green kind. To defend your city, you have to build troops. To build troops, you need resources, which are easy to get. Just build a farm and... Wait, why are my peasants not working? That's right, your workers will only be productive when you are watching them, so you better start mandating a return to office right now. This simple but effective twist means you will constantly juggle generating your different resources with training new troops and getting upgrades. If you don't get enough upgrades, the game will quickly outscale you, but if you don't build enough troops, the next wave might just overwhelm your defenses, and of course, all of these things need different resources. It's a really strong foundation, but on top of that you also have artifacts, spells, roguelike type upgrades, and much more. Full disclosure, the game features a really cool frog, so I kinda have to recommend it, but even without that I would definitely say check it out. But enough thinking, no more strategy, it's time to return to the pig trough. The next game describes itself as the forefront of cutting-edge rabbit simulation technology in gaming. Now, this could be a cozy farming sim, or maybe even a rabbit-themed Dwarf Fortress clone, but no. City Rabbit 9 Aerotic City is an action roguelike, third-person shooter, roguelite, with lots of action and crazy monsters. These are not my words, by the way. This is what the developer wrote on the Steam page. It doesn't sound super convincing, but I mean, the trailer looks kinda cool, so how bad could it be? Bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I genuinely don't know what the fuck is going on. This is too much. Turn it off! I have so many questions. Why are there 2 different songs playing at the same time? Who the fuck am I even fighting? And why does this game have real-time reflections, making it run at 15 FPS? So what the fuck is going on with the dialogue? Bro, what the fuck is this? I don't want to be too mean to this game because it feels like a kid made this, but man, you could probably show this at a CIA black site as part of the enhanced interrogation program. If mental illness was a video game, then this would be ADHD. Speaking of fucked up dopamine levels, let's talk about Megabonk. Megabonk is a 3D survivor-like, sitting somewhere between Risk of Rain 2 and Cookie Clicker. It hits all the genre staples: automated combat, strong focus on build crafting, and giant hordes of enemies. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this genre. It feels like I'm being stripped of my player agency just so the game can force feed me dopamine. I don't want to end up like one of these old guys trying to hit 3 bazingas at the Big Bang Theory slot machine. That being said, I really enjoyed my time with the demo and actually booted it up a couple of times after getting all the footage I needed. Also, they have a skateboarding skeleton. Hey kids, do you like Lethal Company? Well, apparently so do developers, because this next verse was full of games trying to put their spin on the concept. First up, Darkwater. In Darkwater, you and your friends man a submarine trying to survive on a hostile planet, which goes about as well as you would think. I'm just gonna twist all these fucking...
We might explode Ramaron. I told you!
The game is a really interesting combination of Lethal Company and multiplayer FTL from the crewmate's perspective. You will find enemy ships, encounter random events, and scavenge abandoned outposts for scrap. Surviving is gonna be a challenge, especially when your crewmate decides to drop 2 d8s of psychic damage straight to your dome. Oh, church. Yo, let me read the Bible real quick. The Lord is among us.
Shut up!
That was so instant. That's a visceral reaction. The game clearly needs a lot more work, but it has a very promising foundation, and I'm looking forward to the full release. Now, being stuck in a submarine deep down the ocean of an alien planet sounds bad, but there is a game where you endure an even worse fate: being a delivery driver. This is Panic Delivery, a game about being a valued member of the Jeffrey Bezos family. You and your team will be in charge of providing same-day delivery across the entire Milky Way. I know that sounds a little daunting, but don't worry, the dogs are friendly, the mine's clearly visible, and the mannequins are so bonkered off the fentanyl that they won't be able to move. I haven't got enough time into the game to tell if it has actual staying power, but you know they're doing something right when we spend half of the time playing just fucking around in the hub area. Yo, look at this.
Yo! I love those things.
Both of these definitely try to carve out their own identity, but there are actually quite a lot of games taking inspiration a bit too far. From a potential copyright lawsuit, to yet another uninspired Slay the Spire clone, all the way to I can't believe it's not Huntress. I really don't feel like giving most of these titles any more attention than necessary, but there is a game I do want to talk about. Void War is a space combat roguelike set in a dark techno-gothic future. Or as I would say it, this is just FTL. Literally, from the combat to the UI and general gameplay loop, this is a one-to-one copy of FTL, with the biggest difference being that it is set in a legally distinct 40k inspired universe. Look, guys, I know you tried very hard not to mention Warhammer in your promotional material, but I don't think that will stop James Workshop from ordering exterminados on your ass. What annoys me the most about this is that I really like the idea. A 40k themed FTL sounds amazing, but if you shamelessly rip off 2 separate IPs, I don't think you should charge $15 for that. It's cool that you want to make your own FTL game, but then lock the fuck in and give it some proper effort. This could have been so much more interesting if you actually spent the time and work to come up with your own ideas. And I know that because there are some cool ideas in here. For example, giving your crew equipable items and unused spells actually mixes up the combat a lot. Or the fact that you have a commander. He has special abilities and is stronger than your regular crew, but also if he dies, you lose the run. These are cool twists, but 90% of the game is just a carbon copy of FTL with a Warhammer theme slapped onto it. It's a bootleg toy you find at a street market. Guys, this should have been a mod pack. FTL is also not the only roguelike getting copied. Ever since the release of Slay the Spire in 2017, there have been a lot of games trying to emulate the roguelike deck building genre, but none of them have hit the hammer quite on the head like Roguelite Deck Builder. A game about building a deck. This is so stupid. I think this might be more of a meta commentary than an actual game, but the developer Jill Lawson is currently working on another game called Goblin America, which is already goated for causing one of the funniest Twitter meltdowns I have ever seen. In 2024, Jill uploaded a clip from the game to Twitter, which was then quote retweeted by Funny Game Dev, calling it pretty much a shitty Cruelty Squad ripoff. So far, so normal for this hell site, but then Villicalio, the Cruelty Squad developer, quote retweeted that person saying, "No, this looks good," which for some reason caused them to go absolutely mental.
Yeah man, you could have just DM'd me that you thought it was cool, instead of subtweeting and then quote tweeting behind the lock, thus having a bunch of your fanboys mad send threats at me. Still won't change my opinion that I think it's too derivative of Cruelty Squad. Honestly, it's shitty of you to do this, especially when the developer himself could have just contacted me if he had a problem. He doesn't need your ass to protect him. Oh well, go ahead and charge $40 for a shitty Etsy shirt and hat while your fans of your game buy cheaper bootlegs.
Bro, you started this whole shit. What the fuck did you expect? The funniest part about this whole exchange is that Funny Game Dev has over 240,000 tweets. Please, for the love of God, just log off and go for a walk or something. I swear you will feel better afterwards. While we're on the topic of phone addiction, have you ever played an RPG and thought to yourself, man, this shit is so boring, I wish I could play some Candy Crush right now? No? Well, it seems like you've never played Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlords, a RPG that resolves combat with Match 3 style boards. I know that sounds weird, but the game was actually really fun. So fun in fact that ever since I played this 15 years ago, I've been longing for more. This is where Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 picks up. Despite the name, it's the first and probably only entrance in the Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion franchise. There is some meta-narrative fourth wall breaking stuff going on, which explains the name when you actually play the game, but honestly, I'm just happy that someone is making more Match 3 style combat. Okay, up to this point I tried to somewhat naturally transition between the different games, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This video has already taken way longer than I expected, and I'm kinda blanking on this transition, so...
I knew someday I would return.
Total Chaos is a survival horror game that you can actually play right now. Well, that may be a bit misleading. You can play the original version, which is a mod for Doom 2. Yes, you heard that right, Doom 2. Well, technically it's running on GZ Doom, but it's still incredibly impressive. This mod was developed by Waterholic over the span of 9 years and is widely considered to be one of the best Doom mods out there. And now they're reimagining it as a standalone game. I can't really comment on how faithful this standalone version is to the original, but this was definitely one of the best horror games I played during the Next Fest. And it's really pretty. I could probably spend half an hour just gushing about the use of lighting in the game, but since nobody wants to hear that, let's move on to the next game and polar opposite on the quality spectrum. Get a midnight snack without mom noticing. When I saw this, I thought this would be a parody of the granny type horror games, but no, this is just a crypto miner. There's no gameplay in this. You can open up cupboards, and if you make too much noise, you get the worst jump scare I have ever seen. What? I'm not even sure if this qualifies as a jump scare. If any of the games I downloaded gave me malware, it was probably this one. Well, at least we definitely hit rock bottom with this one. It just can't possibly get any worse. This wasn't actually that bad. Probably because it wasn't made by the Garden of Banban developers, but instead is part of the Banban licensing program. Just saying that sentence out loud makes me feel like I'm losing my mind, almost like the simulation is breaking.
I woke up not knowing where I was or how I got here. The walls around me are covered in rust, and the air smells stagnant, almost like the inside of an old submarine. Every time I try to remember what happened, it feels like TV static is filling my brain. There's this man in a white lab coat. I tried to ask him questions, but he wouldn't even tell me his name, only calling himself my mentor. He told me that we have a job to do. I don't think I have a choice. Today, the man in the lab coat showed me what we're working on. A giant machine, cables sprouting in every direction like a tree growing its roots. He says it's the future of simulation technology. I say it's a giant pile of garbage that we barely got to turn on, let alone make it work. But we have 463 days and a whole library to work through, so let's hope for the best. I am so tired, but it doesn't matter. Today is the last test. I will enter the simulation and maybe finally get some answers. Everything here is fucked. The moment I stepped into the light, I knew something was off. I can barely see a thing. There must have been an error with the machine or something. God, this droning is driving me crazy. I don't know what to do. I'll just keep walking. I have to keep walking. I feel like I'm being watched. Like I don't belong here. I'm not welcome here. The ground feels alive. The droning is getting louder. Something's coming.
Originally, this video was supposed to conclude with a rant about the rise of low-effort, complete garbage slop content, especially looking at how it's being fueled by the existential nightmare that is generative AI. I got interested in this because there were quite a lot of really awful games during the Next Fest that used AI-generated artwork in an effort to mask their shit gameplay. The thing is, that topic absolutely ballooned in scope, and I realized I would need a lot more time to cover this properly. Time I simply do not have at the moment. Between me starting a new job and this video getting more out of date with each passing day, there is simply no way I can give it the attention it deserves. So I'm gonna push this topic to a possible future video and end this video with a huge shout out to both Remy and Verak. They absolutely crushed their respective parts, and I'm really thankful that they went along with my stupid ideas. Also, thank you to my mom. No particular reason, I just know she watches these videos. Anyway, I gotta go. I've been staring at this fucking project for 3 months now. I want to work on something else. Bye bye, see you soon, XOXO. Hey kids, do you... Jeez.